took a journey this time to the UK. So I started basically off, I wanted to find out where I was born, but the place where I was born, unfortunately the hospital is no longer there. So it's been no longer there, I think, since the late 90s. It's now removed into a clinic, so I didn't go there. So my first journey was starting off where my primary school was. Couldn't go in because in the UK, of course, you need an appointment, and it was closed during the holidays. So the primary school itself was pretty much the same. So when I go inside, well, I couldn't go inside. I was looking at the outside, from the outside, looking into the playground, and you remember, wow, you know, it's quite clear, some of the memories of when you were 5 or 6 or 7, and then it blurs away between 8 and 9, but still certain points remain with you for the rest of your life. The classrooms itself, so you move around, so years 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, different classrooms. Usually the bigger you are, the bigger the classrooms. And the school itself hasn't really changed that much. Still the same playground, so that's where you learn to play football, play with your kids, or you're fighting, or you're bullying people, or no, you are being bullied, or you're racing. Very multicultural because it's in the east side of London. The takeaway is where I lived, very nearby, basically 3 minutes walk from the primary school. And that's actually the core part of my memory and my life in the UK for basically from childhood to teenagehood to young adulthood. So that forms a big part, and I spent most of my time there. Was it great? To be honest, it was not that great. Was it bad? To be honest, it was quite bad. Could have been worse. Perhaps it could have been worse. This I will delve into later on with other vlogs and documentaries, but I'll leave it at that. I will delve into that because there's a lot to explore. There's a long period, and there's a lot of things going on between that, which I would like to share as well. Secondary school, Forest School. It has around 1,600 students. It is a big school, big school. For private school, I would say it's a medium size, but compared to Hong Kong, it's pretty huge. For example, we had cricket fields and football fields. There was like 15, 20, which is quite normal for a private school over there as well. Lots of different buildings, music schools, sports halls, squash courts, tennis courts, swimming pool, the usual stuff, which is quite normal there. Especially if you're given the size, you're talking about 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 students who are all paying a very high fee for these facilities and this education. And then from there we moved on. You also see the journey from my secondary school, whereby I cycled. I did a lot of cycling back to where I lived in Takeaway, and you see the car journey going through there as well. The reason I did that was I've done it before, but it's the first time I filmed it. Given you have technology now, of that journey is actually not as far as I thought. It's around 8-9 km, but back in the day it felt quite far. I think for a couple of reasons. One was because it's usually cold when you're going to school, so apart from September and May, the rest of the time is like this. It's cold, and quite often much colder and rainy and sometimes snowy, so that made it very hard. And secondly, I was also wearing shoes, black shoes you had to, and suit, tie. And at the beginning it was a suitcase, which was almost impossible to cycle. Then later on it was a rucksack, but the rucksack was very heavy. You had your books. We didn't have laptops, so had the big books. And I particularly remember, for example, the physics books, maths books, biology books. These were huge books, the GCSE books. And you only probably use 1 page and 2 pages, but you had to carry it. For other people, it's fine. Their parents would drive them in a Mercedes and BMW. Some had a Bentley as well. Or you take a small bus. In my case, it's carry. Oh. I would say half of it was great, half of it was probably not so great. It was not so great mainly because I had to work a lot in the takeaway, so that's another story for another day. But otherwise, it could have been much better for many reasons. But you know, that was part of my experience. Then I moved on, you will see, to university. Now this was a different journey. This was a journey into the unknown. This was the first time basically I lived away from home and was totally independent. So from living in basically it's like in a very restricted, imprisoned environment, and then moving into utter total freedom, it's quite hard to manage actually at the beginning. You don't join a lot of clubs. Like every club I joined, badminton, football, dancing, ballroom dancing, French, Hong Kong society, Japanese society, you name it, Taiwanese society, I go for it. And that is exactly what you should do in university. Everybody should do that, especially in the first years. That is one of the big part of university. You're no longer at school. You should really see, you're not seeing the world, you're still in a protected world. But within that protected world, go out and meet people. That's how you develop your social skills and meet people of different nationalities, of different backgrounds. Whereas in school, it's very restricted. Everyone's come from kind of a similar background, living in a kind of similar area, of kind of same race and religion in most cases of most schools around the world. Whereas in university is the whole world, especially universities in the UK. It is very multicultural. Liverpool to see a match. You saw the vlog as well. You see obviously King Salah, King Klopp. Klopp is taking a holiday. I believe he will come back one day, one more time. It's not over yet. It's a break. He needs a break though, for health, a lot of issues, to recharge. I believe he will come back. Just believe it. He's young enough, and also we need him. The Manchester as well obviously had.